This is it. The teaser video was for this. The 2017 Sherco 300 SEF-R. 6 days. Sorry for making you wait so long, dirty old Joe. Also, for what it's worth, this Kriega Hydro 3 is 1,000 times better than what I had before. What was before was a Camelback Mule NV, I think is what it was called, and this is just way better. This quad lock system is more comfortable. The bag just feels better on you. The bladder system is just 1,000 times better anyway, so yeah, I would give that definitely a product thumbs up, and this is the first time already. Hello people, that is correct. The KTM 350 XCF-W is gone, and what has taken its place is this insane 2017 Sherco 300 SEF-R 6 days version. And well, I tell you what, it is 50 cc's smaller for an engine, but I gotta tell you, this thing feels way more powerful. It's also just overall way more usable. It is essentially all stock, other than it's got a gummy back tire and some Crya bars. I'm just trying to talk here. Some Crya bar end protectors here. Bark busters. I don't know what you want to call them. This thing is real weird, man. That KTM, I don't know. Handling wise, it seemed so slow. And this one is just lightning quick. I mean, you can do anything you want with this, and it'll be happy to oblige, you know. I think maybe a big part of why it feels so much more powerful is because of that back tire. In that it's able just to find so much more rear grip. So it's just able to hook. At least that's kind of my initial theories here. Engine-wise, it's also honestly torquier, which I wouldn't have thought. And no, I have no real way to back up these claims right now. As a matter of fact, I was trying to look all over the internet for power figures on this Sherco, and I can't find anything. But why did I make the trade? Well, I like to do this kind of shit. You know, I want to do hair scrambles and hard enduro. And a big part of that is being able to touch the ground and pedal along. This thing is 1.5 inches shorter than my KTM. I'll show you the power difference here, ready? See, that was the front end coming up there in like the middle of second at 28 miles an hour. It does have a speedometer, I don't know if you could see that. But I wanted to be able to touch the ground, at least some, to be able to help kind of pedal it along if I have to. And not that I can really touch a whole hell of a lot better on this, but 1.5 inches goes a long way, especially in confidence, you know. So there was that for a trade. And I don't know. I don't really have any real complaints about that KTM. I was just never really very happy about it. And this one, I don't know, so far it's really different. It has no real kind of front end confidence. And I don't know why that is. It's got, I'm pretty sure, the same forks as the KTM, or maybe even upgraded ones. And I don't know, just a real lack of front end confidence at speed. So, like, I got a tank slapper the other day, essentially, and it was able to find its way through it, but, or either I was, I don't know. But it doesn't seem to be real happy at speed. And that's okay, because in Enduro, the real goal isn't really all-out speed, I don't think. It's kind of more technicality and handling. And this bike, oh boy, this bike has got that in spades. It's so happy doing pretty much whatever it is you want to do, other than going really fast in a straight line. You know, and in a bad situation, like the other day on the street, I got it up to, I think 73, and it was good. It was happy then. It's a Michelin Enduro competition front tire. That's the stock one they put on these. It's also the stock one they put on betas, which I was also looking at, a beta. I want a 4-stroke because I just don't like the idea of a 2-stroke power band. Torque means a lot more to me for the kind of stuff that I want to do. Like that. I want to be able just to kind of loft the front end with very minimal effort. And like I said, this bike will just do that real easy. I also don't know if it's lighter than the KTM, but I would have to say that it certainly feels it. And a big part of that, I think, is again just that it is lighter with a lower center of gravity. I think that kind of gives you that sensation of less weight. Whoa. There's a lot of mud as of late. We've been in a big fucking drought, and of course, as soon as I finally find time to ride, there's just rain. So we're kind of just using this nimble handling to our advantage. We're just kind of trying to pick a line, see how nimble that front end is. As for the like motocross style turn, is what I want to call it, where you stick your foot out, it doesn't seem to have a lot of confidence with that either. I'm not exactly sure why. I also don't like the bar ergonomics. I feel like they point my wrists in a lot, which is easy. I can replace the bars, you know, real easy work. Anyway, my initial thoughts on it are, I don't know, I'm a little anxious because it does seem to be so much different and so much less confident than my KTM in, oh boy, in some regards, and yet in others it's so much of a happier bike. So, I don't know. Right now I'm totally middle ground on it. Oh yeah. Like I said, I was never super duper attached to my KTM. Granted, I only got it in February and it's now the end of June. Oh, this is a real sketchy section. I just kind of wanted to try something different, you know? Find something shorter. But I didn't want to go, you know, the way smaller engine capacity route. I didn't want to go with a 250 or a 125. I also didn't want to lower the bike. Any one of the bikes that I decided to get. I didn't want to just slam it, you know? They spend hundreds of hours and millions of dollars in R&D on those bikes, to make them handle as good as possible, you just slam them, you just ruin all of that. All of that work is then just essentially garbage. So that's what a lot of you might be thinking, like, well, I slam my bike and it's fine. And that's fine. I believe that it would be fine, really. But in the end, I just kind of wanted to buy a bike and then like get to the limit of that bike, not to the limits of the mods I did to it. That's not me saying I am anywhere near the limit of this bike or the KTM. You know, I am, by every meaning of the word, an amateur, a total noob, you know, when it comes to enduro. And I got my first race, just my very first race, in the middle of September. Keeping in mind that I started riding in February, I kind of thought that would be enough time for me to get ready and make some changes to my riding style, to whatever bike it is that I'll be riding, which will really undoubtedly be this. I'm not going to get a different bike now, because right now I'm enjoying it. It's just very different. There's that front end coming up. You can just hear that power go, and it just hooks. I think a really big part of that is the rear tire, which it also has a moose. So it is an airless rear tire, and it's a gummy one at that. So I mean, the traction is definitely more noticeable. I have no idea. Oh God. Like there, I was able to put my foot down, and that saved it. That saved the bike. I would have just been pitched if I wouldn't have been able to put my foot down. And that is why I have a Sherco and not a 39-inch seat height KTM when I'm 5'6" with a 31, 32-inch inseam. It's just a different kind of bike. The tire is warm. The tire is a whole shot ST 505, but it's a gum tire. You can see just how pliable these are. The whole tire just moves. It's something else, I tell you. This is that front. Alright, so something I forgot to mention, and a mistake that I may have just been making, is it has a map switch. There's an A mode and a B mode, and in B mode I don't think it does anything else other than cut the power by 5 horsepower. And boy, let me tell you, it's a big fucking difference. I even gotta put a swear word there for emphasis on something that weighs 200 pounds, plus with me 140 pounds, probably 160 pounds with all this gear. It's just way different. Like I said, I don't know what it was in this whole time, but man, it's just, this in A mode is just better than the KTM was, and in B mode it's still better. In B mode it just gives you every little bit of traction that there pretty much ever was available to your tire. It's freaking gnarly. There's a motocross style turn. That was actually pretty nice. That was a pretty decent execution on my part. So there's a really good example of how light, oh boy, this front end can get. This got bad. Uh-oh. Oh. He saves it again with the foot. I gotta get out of this. Alright. There's some pretty good enduro type stuff right there. Trying to get out of big sloughs of mud. Mud, mud, mud. My life is mud. Maybe all I needed was to ride it a little more. Because in the beginning I would say that it was a less confident bike than my KTM. But I'm going to tell you right now that it's a more confident bike. I don't know. I would say I already feel more confident on this than I ever did with my KTM 350. And I put a lot of time on that thing. And that's coming from that to this, you know. It hasn't been that long since I've ridden that last. And this is just for what I wanted to do. Definitely now the conclusion is that this is the better bike for what I want to do. Is the better bike overall? I can't say that. For what I want to do, yes. Reliability, maintenance-wise, I have no idea. I don't know, they do really well in enduro competitions, so they have to be reliable, right? They have to be pretty reliable bikes in order to compete on that kind of a level. And so therefore this has to just be a pretty reliable bike. This is the shittiest conclusion I've ever filmed. So the conclusion is, I'm trying to ride this with no hands. It's just a better, happier bike. From my riding style, from my height, I like the clutch feel. I think it takes a pretty small amount of action. I think it's a predictable clutch. I think the brakes in the front have good feeling. The brakes in the back definitely have good bite. Because like I said, I just don't really believe in dirt bike back brakes having a lot of feel other than the feel from the back tire. Is it locked up? Yes? Oh, okay, well then your back brake's on. Anyway, it's a good bike, guys. I'm happy with it. I don't know. I'm not jumping off the Kato bandwagon. I think that those are impressive bikes, but I think that for my intentions, this is just a better one. This is going to take a lot of editing because I've just repeated myself over and over. But there she is in her splendor, dirty and muddy. I always ride in my CD Crossfire 3s, which, by the way, are the best money I've spent on dirt bike stuff, period. Hands down. Just get a pair because the feel and the fact that they're immediately broken in because of that pivot system is just wonderful. Clean them up with a magic eraser and they look good and as good as new, you know. Anyway, CD Crossfire 3s, buy them. Sherco 300 SEF-R. I don't know, I think it's a wonderful, splendid bike. On a motocross track, it's probably going to be pretty shitty.